Friends, how is it going? I am excited. I'm really excited. Let's go right into this chart right now. Well, let's talk about this. Before I talk about the chart with Sofi, there's obviously things going on right now that are very, very telling of what could be coming here with Sofi. So bank stocks have been reporting, all week here. Essentially from BlackRock to Citi, Wells Fargo. Then we had Bank of America, but essentially the main thing right now is that they're actually releasing good quarterlies. Okay, and this was the first big test of the week for what is going to be coming here with the market. Can the market get another push? Can the market get another rise up here? And with what we're seeing evidence right now is that, okay, the banks obviously this week are producing quarterlies. Obviously we've got TSM reporting here 16th today, and a handful of other ones. So this is the moment right now where the bears were like, please God, let these be bad, and the bulls were going, please God, let these be good. Next week too, with that, the next week is just a monopoly of everything mixed. I mean, from retail to AI to everything. But right now the bank stocks are doing good. Okay, so obviously I think you know where I'm going with this. Sofi bank stock, we'll just make it plain Jane there. This is a good sign. This is a good sign, that other banks are doing good. Now, obviously, for the person leaving the very aggressive comment right now, obviously these are the staple pillars of, economic banking systems, throughout the world, especially here in the United States, from BlackRock on. So, they're doing well, and they're they can, they make all the money, essentially what we're saying here, but the fact that they're doing good is very telltale signs of that. Okay, the banking system seems to be doing good right now, and Sofi has been doing good on quarterly. So we're still not in this moment of thinking, well, Sofi might start to lack on quarterlies. That's not really what's going on right now. We're expecting Sofi to release another great quarterly. I think a lot of people are just going like, how good is the quarterly going to be? How aggressive is the quarterly going to be? So let's go right into the stock, the candlestick chart here, and look at this, because this is really interesting. So if you notice right here, we have a slow push right now, and this has been going on since Monday. And this is why, I've seen a lot of people comment like, what are you talking about? SoFi's going slow. This is not good. I mean, look at the fight that's going on right now. Monday, last Friday, we were like 25 for a moment. Monday we're pushing 26, we're hitting 27. Now today we're almost back at $29. If Sofi keeps pushing into this the next 48 hours in the market, we're gonna be in $30 range here. So this is really this is good. This is really good. And this is why I talked about, I was swinging a huge portion of Sofi. And for the person like, why are you swing trading? I do many different trading things. I have a large portion of Sofi that's just there forever that I bought years ago. Okay, fun, great, wonderful. But two, I'm seeing moments of swing trading Sofi too, and this is why Friday when the market crashed, when Trump was on his phone and he sunk the market. I went in and I just started buying up Sofi because I was like, this is an easy swing here. And sure enough, this is what we're walking into now. So Jerome Powell talked yesterday. He essentially said like, hey, yes, looks like we're going to push into this rate cut here, another one here at the end of October. Now too, he said with that, hey, the government's still shut down. We don't know, we may not know what to tell you about job reports in September. Hey, we may not know what to tell you about job reports in October. We'll see. And two, there's still inflation data that was supposed to come out essentially the 15th. Didn't happen. So right now the Fed just may continue to do what they're doing going into the end of the month, and they'll meet up undoubtedly and say, hey, we feel confident. We're just going to we need to do a rate cut here. And the market's already showing signs of that it wants it to. So after this week, this is when I'm getting really excited about what's coming here, for the rest of the next 2 weeks in the market, okay? Because this week was the week of foundationally, what are the banks going to look like? And right now the banks are doing very well. I just watched this interview, on essentially in Wall Street where people are like, yes, we're very shocked that the banks are doing very well. Some of them just didn't do okay. They did like, okay, this is crazy. So with that, if we can go into next week with all these other earnings, but we had this week right here that was such a strong foundation of, okay, well, the banks just released great quarterlies. Okay. This is going to really push up next week too, with more quarterlies that we're going to see. Now, next week obviously could be good and bad. There will be bloodshed, there will be victories. It's going to be from retail to AI to some other banks too. But this week obviously is like the pillars of the banking system that are releasing their quarterlies essentially. So SoFi here is in this moment of slowly pushing up right in front of people. That's why, I've been seeing people say the same thing on chat rooms. I'm like, why are people saying this? Don't they see what's from Friday until now, what's happening? I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to tell you something about me. I do not like when stocks just go. I don't like that. I do not like when a stock goes from $25 to $30 in one day. I don't want it to do that. I don't want it to do that at all. Now, obviously, if that were to happen, that's because some partnership deal, whatever, like what we saw OpenAI and AMC, do here just a moment ago. AMD, excuse me, what we saw AMD and OpenAI do here just a week or so ago. And by the way, that stock is still holding up very aggressively. It's going up even more. Anyway, besides the point, that I like when stocks move slow. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I am totally okay with that because there's more of a chance to build a sturdy foundation, a ground right now. And I'm going to be honest with you, if SoFi really pushes out this next quarterly and it is really good and the market's moving hot here at the end of October, we're going to be farther away from the 20s. And, I think we could be in a real conversation here, maybe by somewhere in November. If we can get through November and see what December brings, are we going to see another rate cut at the beginning of December? Maybe that December 10th date, I don't know. We could just be in a place with SoFi where, 20, 25, it's gone. It's gone. Maybe the high 20s, 28, 29, maybe the new lows. We'll see how aggressive this quarterly is with SoFi. We'll see how aggressive the market is at that point. But too, if you are swing trading any stock right now, going into quarterlies here, I think the general consensus is what we're all thinking here. And two, especially with SoFi, if you're swing trading, you're long trading, you're swing trading, there's going to be a moment here where the market reports all these earnings. Maybe the market's doing great, high off expectation. Hey, rate cut, market's, it's euphoria, fireworks. There will be a pullback, obviously, somewhere in November. And I don't mean like a collapse. I just mean like the market will kind of reset. Where are we at? Let the dust settle. Let the confetti fall on the ground and let's clean up and see where we are here. That will more than likely show its face here somewhere in November, I would imagine. But two, the interesting part with that is like I said, we could just be going into another, hey, we've got another rate cut coming up here. And two, when is the government going to turn the lights back on? When are we going to see them walk in office here and, see, job reports? So we may see job reports for September, October come out together. All this inflation data that, that we're not seeing here. It's very interesting. It's it's a interesting time in the market, to say the least. And I'm still very on this train of thinking that, SoFi could definitely be in $30 to $40 range here, somewhere in January by Q4. I don't think that is that crazy, especially if we get strong evidence here that this next quarterly is going to be very aggressive. Okay, I think that's probably on a lot of people's mind right now. I really do. So, yeah, there's a slow move to 30. It's happening right before us. It's happening right before us. And, I think this is just wonderful, wonderful push and movement right now in SoFi. So, friends, I want to wish all of you the best of luck with what's going to happen here in the next 48 hours. Tomorrow's going to be some more big earnings. Really curious to see what's going to happen tomorrow with earnings. And, into it's going to tell us what is going on with chips too. We could see AI stocks kind of run tomorrow too, because kind of that will feed off essentially it just the broad conversation of it. So friends, take care of yourself. Bye everyone.